Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making chicken and dumplings. So I've got my pot here. Normally I would get a whole chicken or chicken breast and boil it, and or either put the whole chicken in a crock pot. Taking a shortcut today. I've done this before and it turns out the same. I bought a rotisserie chicken and I pulled it apart. It was kind of a small chicken, as you can see. And of course I snacked on it a little bit. So I've got my chicken and I've got my chicken broth, cream of chicken soup. This stuff is called Better Than Bouillon. It's really good, gives it a good chicken flavor. Salt and pepper, and I do not roll out dumplings. I have not done that since I was a little child. So the frozen dumplings are great. So I have a package of this. So what I'm going to do, this isn't a whole thing of chicken broth. It's some that I've been using for different things here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my burner on medium high. And this is probably a third of this box of broth that's left in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it up. And go ahead and add one more. Just be careful when you pour this in because it will splash. So while I'm getting this poured in, you can, if you have a pot that it tends to stick, you can put some Pam in the bottom of it to help prevent sticking. So I had that out just to show you. I try to keep stirring this to keep it from sticking, the dumplings from sticking. Okay, so I've got the one full box in there and the partial box. I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken in here. And you know, it's just pulled apart in pieces. You can put it in however many or whatever size pieces that you want. You can make it smaller, you can leave it bigger. It's just totally up to you, however you like. I just don't like to have a big chunk of chicken that I've got to fight with to eat. Okay, so I've got that in there, and I can tell already that I'm going to need more broth. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this other box. I'm not going to pour the whole thing in there. As you can see, it splashes. So before this burner gets too hot, wipe that up. Okay, so I've got that in there. I want to go ahead and add my cream of chicken soup, the whole can. And I'm gonna get my whisk just to break that up, because if you've ever cooked with cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup, you know it gets kind of clumpy. So you just, it doesn't have to, you don't have to get all the clumps out, just try to get what you can out. Just whisk that around. Now I'm gonna add my Better Than Bouillon, and this is an 8-ounce jar, and you can see I don't have a whole lot left in there, so I'm just going to put all of this in. So it doesn't, there's not a whole lot, you can see, but it gives it really good chicken flavor. So just stir your spoon around in there and it will eventually come off. Try to get the last little bit out. Okay, now what I want to do is add in my dumplings. The Mary B's dumplings, they come in this package like this. This is 1.5 pounds, and they tend to stick, so that's why I have my butter knife out in case they start sticking. You just pry it apart like that, and I'll break these in half and then break them in half again. So I'll get all these in, and it'll take me a few minutes to get these all in. So once they're in, I will come back and show you what to do next, how to season it. Okay, just a note, these dumplings, because they are frozen and they're sticking together, if you go ahead and just try to pry all of them apart like this, because when they start thawing out, they're going to get gummy, and then you're going to have nasty hands. So that's just a side note. And I want to apologize now for any stuttering or delaying that I do. My head's in a fog. We've had a storm coming through here, so it's giving me a major headache. But anyway, if you go ahead and just pry these apart like this and then stack them back in the little tray there, you'll have less of a mess to deal with on your hands. Okay, so I've got my dumplings in here, and as you can see, they're starting to soften up. So I've just stirred this a little bit. Now I'm going to take a taste test of the broth. And it needs a little bit of salt and pepper. And you salt this to your taste, not to mine. So that's why I don't give you a measurement of how much salt or pepper to put in. It's just, you know, what your preference is. I like a lot of pepper, but I don't put so much in here that no one can stand to eat it. So I start off with that, and then I can always add pepper to my plate. So you just want to stir this frequently to keep from sticking. And like I said, it's on medium-high heat, so I'm going to just cover this because it needs to come up to a boil. So I'll check it every few minutes, and it's going to vary how long it takes to cook. If I had used, if I went ahead and boiled my chicken and used the broth from that, it would have been hot already, so it would have taken less time to cook. So that's why it's going to vary, just however you do it. I do prefer to use my own chicken. I just didn't feel like cooking a whole chicken or cooking some chicken pieces, so I went the easy way. Although I'm not sure how easy it was because you have to take the whole chicken apart. But anyway, so we're just going to let this come up to temperature, get it to a rolling boil, and I'll check on it periodically, and then go from there. And then I'll test it again once it starts to boil and the salt and pepper are really incorporated in there. Okay, so I added a little more salt and pepper to it right about the time it came up to a boil. It's been going for about 20 minutes, 22 minutes actually, and it's almost done. You can see the dumplings are flimsy, they're floppy. So right now I'm going to turn this down to a medium-low heat. And you can see the soup is thickened up. And I would give this about, I'll say another 5 to 10 minutes, and it should be completely ready to serve. I gave my daughter a taste test and she gave me a thumbs up, so that's a good thing. Seeing that my mother's dumplings are #1 on the list, my Aunt Darlene's is #2 on the list. I've moved from 4th to 3rd above Cracker Barrel, so I'm improving. But I can say my mother does make some excellent chicken and dumplings. So we're going to give this just a little bit longer, and I'll check back on it just to make sure all the dumplings are nice and tender. Okay, so it's been about 6 or 7 minutes, and I've the dumplings are tender, so I've got a plate or a bowl of them here, and that's what they come out looking like. Now, different brands are gonna be different colors. There's another brand that I've used. I can't remember the name right offhand, and the dumplings look whiter. So it just depends on the brand that you use. There's no right or wrong brand. It's just what's available. But if you want to roll out dumplings and make them from scratch, you go right ahead. I just choose the more the easier route. Having a family, you know, working all day, coming home, last thing you want to do is roll dumplings. So hope you enjoy. I know my daughter does. The rest of my family don't really care for them. Not sure what's wrong with them, but doesn't take too long, 30 to 45 minutes, and you have pot of chicken and dumplings. Enjoy.